Welcome again to Food Tactics. Today we're doing king salmon. The star of the show is right here. I have it in paper towel so it can dry off all the excess moisture and it will sear properly. So we're gonna accompany this with some smashed potatoes, sauteed. We have the potatoes right here. I'll go over them in a little bit. And we're gonna do a corn and butternut squash succotash. What is succotash? Succotash is a medley of vegetables, typically done in the South, usually done with zucchini and yellow squash. Today we're using butternut squash, zucchini, some fresh corn. We're gonna saute it all together. Really good. The seasoning that we're gonna use for the succotash is like a Cajun seasoning that we have made. I have it right here. You can of course buy your own, but I made this one with a little bit of ancho chili powder just to give it that little southwestern flair. It has coriander, cumin, smoked paprika, a little bit of turbinado sugar. It also has a little bit of cumin in there. It's very fragrant. Some kosher salt, very tasty. The thing that we're going to use here is fresh thyme. We have some butter. We have neutral oil, which is canola oil. If you can take a look here at the ingredients, very nice, very colorful ingredients. Use whatever you have in the pantry. Use whatever you have in season. We're also going to incorporate a bay leaf for this situation right here. We're also going to do a sauce for the king salmon, but for this sauce, we don't want to go over in flavors, okay? The star, like I said, the star of the dish is the king salmon. So we're just gonna incorporate a few flavors that are gonna enhance that flavor. In this case, the star herb that we're gonna use for that, it's dill. Dill goes very well with seafood. So we're gonna do a like a dill cream with a little bit of lemon zest. For the sauce, because we're going to start with the sauce first, we are going to cut a few rounds of onion like such, and we are going to run our knife through them to get a small dice like such. If you're going to make a lot of sauce, you'd be using both pieces of onion, but since I'm doing just a small portion to show you guys, I'm going to use just a small amount of herbs. One of my favorite go-to gadgets is this little bench scraper that you can cut and scoop out what you need. I have my pan already preheated, and what we're going to do is we have the onion going right here. I have a little bit of garlic confit. What is garlic confit? We have some microplane garlic, very fine. A little bit of olive oil. I have 3 cloves of garlic here because I don't want it to be garlicky. I just want the garlic to kind of enhance the flavor. So I'm gonna grab half a teaspoon and I'm gonna put it in my pot just like that. And I'm going to stir it around ever so gently just to sweat the onion and the garlic. What do I mean by sweat? What I mean is that I'm heating this up, but I don't want any caramelization. All I want to do is to get the onions translucent so it can release all its natural flavors with the garlic onto the oil. You see the small amount of oil, because I don't want my sauce, my final sauce, to be greasy. This process is going to take anywhere from a minute to a minute and a half. Once you've achieved, see, the onion has changed colors a little bit. Once it's changed, you want to have just a good white wine. What brand? Whatever you like. If you would drink it, you would use it. If you wouldn't drink it, don't bother using it. So Doesn't have to be that expensive, but make sure it's a tasty wine. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna deglaze with about 2 ounces of our white wine. We're gonna increase the heat to medium because I want a little bit of a simmer here to reduce this wine. The French term for that would be au sec, which means reduce it almost until there's almost just a little bit of a glaze there. While that's happening, I'm gonna transfer it to this back burner here. Make sure that my back burner is in medium high, so I can get going. And we're gonna start with the succotash. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of our neutral oil. In this case, we're using 100% grapeseed oil, which is natural, doesn't have a strong flavor, and is also very healthy. We have butternut squash that we have not blanched. Okay, so it's a little bit hard, so that's why I'm putting this first, so it has time to mellow down and soften a little bit. So all of this is going in. Guys, meanwhile, have your oven preheated. I have mine preheated at 375 because the salmon is going to go first in the pan, and then we're going to finish it in the oven. We have some red onion here, some small diced red onion. It's going to go in here as well. If you see that your bubbles are going really fast, it's telling you something. It means it's too hot. So reduce the flame until the bubbles are steady. Now here, I have a mixture. The green right here is a little bit of poblano chili. It's a little bit mild to mild heat. It's not very spicy. Then we have yellow bell pepper and we have red bell pepper. So it makes a nice colorful trio, if you will, and it imparts a lot of good flavor. Remember, here we are sauteing, so we want to have medium-high heat. Next thing we're doing is our zucchini. Some fresh corn. And we're going to use another spoonful of our garlic with oil. This little bit of garlic that I have left is going to be for our potatoes. So I have that there. The seasoning that I'm going to use for this is our hero, our Cajun seasoning that we made. We're going to sprinkle it all around generously, okay? And we're doing this with the oil because when you're using these spices, you want to bloom these spices in the oil. What's blooming? Well, the spice is going to connect with the heat of the oil, and it's going to become more fragrant, more flavorful. So for a little bit more of aromatics, we're going to go ahead and put a bay leaf. I'm going to put a bay leaf. And in case you didn't know, my favorite herbs of all time is thyme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little one like this. I'm not going to even bother taking the leaves off. I'm just going to put it in, and it's going to start releasing the flavors as it cooks. So I'm going to saute this for a little bit. When we come back, you're going to see how this is going to be sauteed. We're going to adjust the seasoning. We're going to go on to the next step of the sauce. So stay tuned. All right, so you see this is pretty much dried out. It still has the flavor of the garlic, the flavor of the onion. So we're gonna put this back on the flame and we're gonna start adding our heavy cream. We're gonna add our heavy cream just like this. If you're doing sauce for like one person, you can do like a half a cup. So you have this working here. We're gonna simmer this until it gets a little bit thick. We're gonna finish it with a little bit of butter, and at the end, the fresh herb, which is the dill. Then we will adjust the seasoning for salt and pepper. As you can see, this is at a low simmer. I've added a little pat of butter and a splash of white wine to bring all those flavors together. So at the end, what I'll do is I'll increase the fire, saute a little bit just to get a little bit more caramelization, and we'll be good to go. Meanwhile, this is working. Let's direct our attention here to our salmon. We have our salmon here, skin on. Look at that beauty. Beautiful skin. When you have such a beautiful fish like this, I don't bother taking the fish, the flesh, the skin out of it. I will cook it skin on, but you have to make sure that that skin is crispy. That's crispy all the way. If you don't like the skin, then this beauty on the other side would be your presentation side. However, you don't want the skin to shrivel on you and get all crooked. So what you want to do with a sharp knife, make sure your knife is sharp, make sure your knife is clean. What you want to do is you want to grab your salmon and kind of give it a little bit of a press, and you want to make a few incisions. Just like that. I'm going to make like 4 incisions, not too deep. Just like that, okay? If it still has a couple of scales, what you can do is just kind of run a paper towel all over them, and you're left with the beauty of the skin. We have some of our seasoning here just to follow that same theme, and we are going to season the fish on the flesh side. Make sure you want to pat that down so you can get all those flavors in. You're gonna invert and season the other side, making sure you get the seasoning on those crevices. Just like that. Okay, I'll quickly rinse my hands off. So now that we have our fish ready to go into the pan, we have our oven preheated at 375 degrees. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our fish. Grab a pair of tongs. For this, you can use a pair of tongs, okay? Or you can use a fish spatula to make this a lot easier. We increase from low to medium-high heat, and we're gonna put some of our neutral grapeseed oil. Just enough to cover the bottom of the pan, okay? Enough to coat the bottom of the pan. You want to make sure that the oil is hot but not screaming hot. And if you're cooking your fish skin side down, you want to start with your fish skin side down. We're going to move this ever so gently here. And the lower our flame is doing well. Doing very nice. This should be hot enough. So always protect yourselves. Grab your fish like such, and you're gonna put it in the pan. Let it drop in the oil and kind of press it down. Remember, it's cold on top, so you're not gonna burn yourself. Okay? So you want to press it just to make sure that that skin is in contact with the oil. And we're gonna cook this for like a minute on the skin side, just to start getting it very, very crispy. It could be more, it could be less, depending on your stove and depending on the heat and how thick it will be. So another tip that I can give you is to tilt your skillet like that. By tilting your skillet, you're getting the oil all around underneath it, ensuring that your fish is searing completely. If you want to find out if it's sticking to the pan or not, just give it a little bit of a wiggle, and you see how fast it comes up here. You can look, see how that skin is getting nice and crispy. So you have two options. If you want really, really crispy skin, you can put it in the oven skin side down, or you can invert like such, and it's going right into the oven. It's gonna go right into the oven, and we're gonna set a timer for 7 minutes. 7 minutes, that'll be enough time. That'll be enough time for the fish to cook. So while that's cooking, I have this here. We have to add a couple things. In this case, we have half a tablespoon of fresh dill. It's going right in there. And we are also going to add some juice of half a lemon. Just get your trusty squeezer like such, and we're gonna squeeze. A little bit of that wonderful lemon juice. And if you can see, squeeze the whole entire thing. The zest, we have here the zest. We have the zest, and we're going to add just a little bit of the zest in there to give it a little bit of extra flavor. We're gonna grab our whisk, and we're going to stir this up, seasoning with a little bit of salt. And why not? We're cooking fish, so a little bit of sea salt to go with that. Remember, you can always add salt, but you can't take away. So we're gonna let our sauce work there. Our pan is hot, okay? So basically, you put oil to coat the bottom. These potatoes, to be honest with you, I blanched them in the microwave with a little bit of water, salted water, and then I smashed them. So they're going in the pan. They're going in the pan with, you guessed it, a couple sprigs of thyme for flavor. We're gonna add some salt. And we will do a little bit of black pepper. So we want these potatoes to caramelize. So what better to help caramelize than some butter? You have some real unsalted butter, and we use unsalted butter so we can control the amount of salt that we're using. And we're gonna just saute these like such. All right, folks, so let's recap. Fish is in the oven. This is sauteing. You want it, remember, they're cooked, they're soft, so you just want to bring a nice crispiness to them. At the end, we're gonna squeeze a little bit of lemon juice to bring that acidity up. And we also have a little bit of lemon juice for the fish. Sauce is almost finishing up. We'll add a little bit of butter to the sauce, and when we come back, we're gonna put it all together and plate it. So don't go away. Hey guys, some live action here. Potatoes are almost done. You can see them caramelize. I've already turned off the heat. So basically what I'm gonna do is, I added the garlic, I added the lemon zest, and now a little squeeze of lemon juice. It's gonna tie everything together. Okay? Careful, careful. Hot oven. We're gonna reach for our salmon. Look at that beauty right there. You don't have to do much, guys. I'm gonna flip it over just to show you. That right there is the caramelization of the Cajun seasoning that we did. So while I'm plating, I'm gonna leave this here so the skin won't get soggy on me and it will keep its crisp. So what I'm gonna do is, I want a crispy skin, but I don't want it to be oily. So you're gonna grab a paper towel and you're gonna have it right here on the side. So when you take your fish, you just tap it there and you're gonna dry the skin so it'll be nice and ready to go. Little mess, but well worth it. Okay, so let's grab a plate that we have here. Nice clean plate. And it's kind of nice because it's gonna offset the color of our dish. So remember, everything is hot, so you want to be careful and you want to grab everything with a dry cloth. So we have our corn and butternut squash succotash that we are going to. This is rustic, guys. You don't have to get all fancy, put it in a ring mold. If you want, you can do it. I've done it. But look, you want to start plating your succotash on one corner of the plate. You could also use negative, like a negative space, and put everything on one side. But we have a pretty big piece of fish, so I'm sure that it's gonna cover a good amount of space. So we have a good amount of succotash. Now we're gonna place our smashed potatoes, like leaning on the succotash. Nice caramelization. This is a meal, just like such. And then our hero, the hero of the day, thanks to my friend Daniel Rosado, U.S. Army from Anchorage, Alaska. Just tap it dry, okay? Tap it dry, and you're gonna place this fish, kind of offset it like this, okay? You can lean it a little bit more, nestle it there. Now here's one thing. I have my sauce. If I put the sauce on that beautiful skin, and how do I know it's beautiful, guys? Look, listen to this. It is crispy, okay? It's like what we call in Latin America, chicharrón. It's nice and crispy. So if I put this sauce over it, I might as well ruin it. Little squirt won't hurt. A little squirt of lemon on the side like this. But on this skin area, I'm not gonna do any damage with sauce. So what are we gonna do? Look at here. I'm gonna push this aside here. Sauce has a nice consistency, so I'm gonna put the sauce right here on this little section right here, okay? Maybe just drizzle like it's cascading on the bottom part of the fish. And you don't have to do much more to it. Some people like to garnish with a little bit of herbs. In this case, we used a little bit of thyme in our preparation, so why not do a little bit of thyme like this. And you have there your hero, the masterpiece, king salmon. King salmon with corn and butternut squash succotash, smashed potatoes with some thyme and lemon, and a dill cream sauce. Again, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Hit me up on Facebook, write your comments, subscribe to the channel, share this channel please. I just want to spread the love, spread the knowledge, so you can become a very good cook at your home. So as always, God bless, stay safe out there, and stay tuned to more of Food Tactics. Thank you.